Hello, and welcome to the latest OTAN Tech Talk. I'm Karla Frizler, a subject matter expert for OTAN. Today we'll be talking about LinkedIn for adult educators. This session assumes you already have some experience using social media apps, so today we'll be focusing on how to use LinkedIn in particular. I will do my best to point you in the direction of valuable resources. So today I will show you features that will help you maximize your use of LinkedIn to showcase your professional expertise. We'll explore strategies for personal branding, networking, job posting and searches, and self-publishing. So topics include tips for creating an account and setting up your profile, connecting with, recommending, and endorsing colleagues, posting and searching for jobs, and publishing content such as articles on topics of interest in your field. Before we go any further, LinkedIn is an interactive online network of professionals. Think Facebook without the cat videos, political rants, and very important quizzes. It is also a search engine powered by keywords, so it's worth taking some time to be thoughtful about the wording you use in your profile. Let's take a look at my LinkedIn homepage to give you an idea of how the site is designed and organized, and what you should expect to see when you log in after you set up your own account and profile. When you first open LinkedIn, you will see your homepage, which is divided into 3 columns. At the top of the screen are a search box and fairly intuitive navigation buttons. On the left is a shortened version of your profile, referred to in LinkedIn as an introduction card. Underneath the introduction card, you will see any additional pages that you manage and the communities and groups that you are connected to. Here we see that I'm connected to California community colleges, higher education, and digital marketing, plus groups such as TESOL. These communities and groups, along with your connections, determine which posts you see in your LinkedIn feed. You can add or remove communities by selecting Discover More at the bottom of this box. In the top middle column of the homepage, you see the space where you can post your own content. Just select Start a Post and start typing directly in the box, replacing the placeholder text, what do you want to talk about? At the top, you can select the audience. Anyone on LinkedIn, anyone on LinkedIn plus Twitter, just your LinkedIn connections, or only members of specific groups. You can also add hashtags below. You can add common ones that auto-populate based on your identified interests, or you can create your own. And here on this screen, you can also add photos, videos, or tag people. Where you start a post, there is also an option to write an article. We'll discuss that in more detail later. So back to the LinkedIn homepage. Notice that you see your feed in the middle column below the box where you enter a post. If you want to organize your feed by seeing the most recent posts first, select Recent under the Post button. The options are Top, which is determined by LinkedIn and is the default, and Recent, which is chronological. So in this example, you can see posts from my connections, friends, colleagues, and other professionals and organizations that I follow. The first post is from Education Week. The next is an ad from WordPress, and you can tell it's an ad because it says promoted. Next is a post from a connection sharing a professional development opportunity, a free webinar. And then below that is a post from a colleague and friend sharing an article published on LinkedIn, which you can see by looking at the byline. I will show you how to publish your own articles later. In the third column, we see suggested links to articles about current hot topics, or what people are talking about now. These are articles that might not appear in your feed because of who you follow, but are popular among LinkedIn users overall. That section is followed by an ad, and then suggestions from LinkedIn about people, businesses, and communities to add to your feed. Just select Follow, and you'll begin seeing posts from these connections in your feed. Select View All Recommendations to see other suggestions from LinkedIn. Also, please notice that you can access the Help Center below that, where you can find detailed step-by-step instructions on how to use LinkedIn's features. Now that we understand what LinkedIn is and what a typical homepage looks like, let's think about why we might use this site. So why use LinkedIn? Some of the reasons professionals use LinkedIn include showcasing your professional expertise, providing links to examples of your work. For example, after OTAN posts these tech talks on their YouTube channel, I can add a direct link from my LinkedIn account so people can see my work in action. You can exchange recommendations and endorsements with others. You can follow up after conferences or professional development. For example, after this tech talk, you may want to stay connected with me. You can also search for job openings and find out the average salary of particular jobs in your area. Even if you're not actively looking for a job, you may be contacted for consulting work or to mentor others, so it is still valuable to have an active, updated LinkedIn profile at all times. In addition to looking for jobs, you can also post jobs and evaluate potential candidates. You can research companies or agencies with which you may be collaborating, publish on topics of interest in your field of expertise, and you can use LinkedIn as a way to stay connected with former colleagues and students without connecting with people personally through something like Facebook. All good reasons to use this valuable resource. So getting started, now that you know why you should be using LinkedIn, let's explore how. With social media such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, I typically suggest that educators establish separate personal and professional accounts. However, in LinkedIn, everything is professional, so I recommend instead individual accounts for educators and company pages for agencies, institutions, and districts. Your employer likely has a LinkedIn page. Here's an example of OTAN's company page, which is the terminology used within LinkedIn. Note that the people who work for OTAN each have their own individual page, such as the example we see here from Melinda Holt. Can you think of an example when you yourself might need separate individual and company pages? Let's say you're an instructor and you have a tutoring business on the side. It may not be appropriate to promote your services through your agency or school, so you could establish a separate LinkedIn page and social media presence dedicated to that tutoring business to avoid any conflict of interest. For this tech talk, we will focus on setting up an individual account and profile, but I wanted you to know that company pages exist if you're interested in exploring further on your own. So creating an account. When you initially sign up for a LinkedIn account, the process is pretty intuitive. Just follow the prompts you see to enter your name, email, and a password. Next, you will be prompted to enter information such as your zip code, most recent job title, and employer name. LinkedIn will give you the opportunity to connect with colleagues, friends, and family, and upload a photo. Note that along the way, you'll be given the option to skip. You can return to any section of your profile later to fill in anything you'd like. When getting started, I would set aside an hour or so to enter all of your initial information. After that, updating here and there won't take long at all. So let's take a look at my profile as an example. Note that wherever you see the pencil or editing tool throughout the site, you can make changes to your content. First, you'll notice my customized background photo featuring my areas of expertise, contact information, and current employer. And also note that canva.com is a great resource of free templates for creating graphics like this. I recommend using a professional, consistent photo across all of your professional social media accounts, and be sure to add any advanced degrees that you have after your name, but only if you've earned them. Spend some time thinking about the descriptors for your headline. If you use a hashtag, start with that. It will appear on all of your posts. You'll want to emphasize roles and areas of expertise rather than titles. This section is important for the LinkedIn search engine and for publishing original content. Here you'll also see your geographic location. The content on the right is auto-populated by LinkedIn with your current employer, last alma mater, contact information, and your connections. You will also want to prepare an About Me statement for the summary section. Mine includes a short bio and my vision and mission as an educator. You can also add links to any websites you manage. The dashboard section is automatically generated for you only. Your connections won't see it, and it includes statistics about how others are interacting with your profile and your posts. And you also see how many times you appear in searches in this section as well. Below that, you will see your articles and activity organized all in one place. If you follow the link on the left to see all articles, you will find a list of all original content you have posted. Here you see that I have published 3 articles on LinkedIn, and I can repost them as I wish. Back to the articles and activities section of your profile. On the right, you see highlights of your most recent posts, comments, and general LinkedIn activity. For the experience section, gather and have handy your latest CV and resume and any web addresses for examples of your work or any video clips or other media to fill in the work experience, education, and volunteer sections. When entering your work experience, be sure to emphasize roles and areas of expertise rather than only including job titles. So for example, my OTAN title is subject matter expert, but my specific areas of expertise are adult education, technology integration, social media, webinars, and video screencasting. Education and volunteer experience are pretty straightforward. Under skills and endorsements, you select what you consider your areas of expertise, and colleagues can endorse the quality of your work. Next, you'll see where you can find recommendations that you've received and given. And following that section, you have accomplishments that you enter, including awards, certifications, and any professional affiliations you might have. You can also select interests so that related posts appear in your feed, along with connections and communities. And now that you've seen a basic LinkedIn profile, let's explore some of the interactive features that make LinkedIn such a powerful resource. Connecting with colleagues. Use the My Network button at the top of the screen to connect with people you know. They will receive a request when you initiate contact. Alternately, if someone attempts to connect with you, you will receive an invitation and the option to accept or ignore, which is to decline. Under People You May Know, LinkedIn will regularly make suggestions based on mutual connections and shared interests or communities. Referrals and recommendations. When you view a job posting you're interested in, you will see if you have any connections at that company already. If so, you may want to request a referral or recommendation. If you initiate the request from the job posting, it will include a copy of that posting with your message for the recipient to see. LinkedIn provides sample text for your message, but you can edit as you wish. Recommendations automatically attach to your profile. The same is true if you give a recommendation to another LinkedIn member. Note that you can always request or submit a recommendation directly through a member's profile. Open up their profile and click on the More button. You will see the options to request a recommendation or recommend. Skills and endorsements. When you look at a profile, you'll see a section called Skills and Endorsements. If you click on the editing pencil in your profile, you can determine which 3 skills appear on your page. Of course, you also select the areas of expertise that appear as options for colleague endorsements. If you select Show More, you can see the rest. When you're viewing a colleague's profile, you have the option to select areas of expertise and give that person an endorsement. The check marks indicate the skills you've already endorsed. If you click on the plus symbol, it will change to the endorsement checkmark. Searching for jobs. Follow the jobs icon at the top of the page to search for specific employers, job titles, locations, and other parameters you set. Results will appear in a list, and you can explore the company, save a job posting, apply directly, ask for referrals from connections, and view the full job description here. You can also set up regular alerts to inform you about job openings via email or LinkedIn notifications. Posting jobs. You may also be interested in posting a job opening and promoting it on LinkedIn. Again, if you follow the jobs icon at the top of the page, you will see the option to post a job. If you are creating the post as an individual, it will appear on your profile. If you create the job posting from a company page, it will appear on that account. Publishing content. This is the feature many educators will be excited about. From your home page in the middle column, you can select multiple ways to share your original content on LinkedIn. In addition to sending a direct post, you may also want to publish articles, Q&A, or case studies. They would all fall under Write an Article. You can also post images and video clips that you create, such as an infographic or a short screencast. What should you write about? Do you have an area of expertise? Do colleagues ask for your advice or perspective about particular topics? Identify problems, issues, or concerns in your field and address them in your articles. Think about topics that come up frequently in your faculty and management meetings. You can always post a prompt on social media to generate writing ideas, such as, what is a common misconception about the teaching profession? Or how do you motivate introverted students to participate in class discussions? The responses you get to questions like that will give you ideas for articles. So let's say we've selected the button to write an article, and let's see what that looks like. When you select Write an Article, you will see this screen. It is a very basic word processor with minimal formatting options. The headline should be your title, and you can paste text in the body from another program such as Google Docs or Word. Where you see Normal in the editing options, you will also find two different header sizes. Add images directly in your post by following the placeholder prompts. Some options allow you to include a caption. This is where I give credit if I use a photo from a photo sharing site such as unsplash.com, which is also listed in your handout. Double-click on an image after it's uploaded to adjust its size or placement, and you can also add video, links, etc. through the same process. Definitely write offline and have someone proofread and edit your writing before you copy and paste into LinkedIn and hit the Publish button in the upper right corner of the screen. You will have the opportunity to edit after publication, but it's best only to edit for content, for example, updating with additional information in the future, rather than editing for punctuation, spelling, or grammar. Once you've published your article, you will see a confirmation page. It also gives you the opportunity at this point to share on Facebook and on Twitter, as well as LinkedIn. And below the article title, you will see the publication date, as well as the option to edit the article. And then you can also see stats about the article's life beyond your screen and keyboard. You'll notice that LinkedIn automatically included your photo, title, and headline from your profile page. So I mentioned before that the headline would be important. And to the right, you see icons for views, likes, comments, and shares. LinkedIn's publishing platform is called Pulse. Articles and other posts are distributed automatically by Pulse to your profile section called Your Articles and Activity. So if you want others to be able to share your original content, you need to make sure public visibility is turned on in your privacy settings. And you see the on the screen what that looks like. You want to go into Edit Your Public Profile and Edit Visibility. Otherwise, people you are directly connected to can still read your articles, but they cannot share with others who are not yet directly connected to you. So we've covered a lot of information so far. In summary, you want to keep posts and interactions on LinkedIn professional. This means no swearing, cat videos, or tales of drunken debauchery on vacation. No judgments here. There are plenty of places for all of that online, just not LinkedIn. Be sure to connect with as many people as possible. Networking is powerful, especially when you can use a tool that extends networking beyond your local environment into a worldwide audience. Definitely take advantage of both giving and receiving recommendations and endorsements. Those are powerful and unique features of LinkedIn. And finally, I highly recommend utilizing the publishing feature to share original content and establish yourself as an expert in your field. During this or another session, have you thought to yourself how great it would be to host an OTAN Tech Talk of your own? I've done several now and have enjoyed them all. In fact, the topic of this one came from the first session that I did during the Q&A after. All have given me a unique opportunity to grow as a professional and connect with colleagues throughout the state. I highly recommend giving it a try. And please share your interest with the folks at OTAN. They're wonderful at providing emotional and technical support and will be with you every step of the way.